And we are back. Coming to you live from the great state of Wisconsin is the Overdue Sports Team. We're back. College football kicking off, and so are we. So we're right back at it. We're on the horse again, and we're going to be running down week one college football slate. Kind of dipped our toes in on the silly week 0 that happens. Kind of just more or less just a cock tease for the actual season, but we're kicking in live, and we got a whole list of games to go through. Some of the games are yucky this week, but we got some fun ones in there. So we're excited to jump into college football. I know Jake is beyond excited to get out of MLB and start with college football.
Yeah. Well, I gotta remember how to talk. It's been like 2 months since we've recorded one of these. Even that the mock draft you guys did was
that was even a while ago now. Yeah,
a while ago too. But yeah, MLB just kind of whatever. Do a little bit here and there. Dip my toes in the WNBA. Profitable, like 5-3. Did a little bit of preseason. Broke even, sort of. Yeah, just ready for the full, the fall to start. I like summer weather, but like fall sports is where it's at when it comes to betting. It's like the busy season starting.
Oh yeah. Yep, that means college basketball is right around the corner, which that's a big one for us. So we'll be in tune with all this stuff. We can jump right into the week 1 slate. We're gonna go brief on today's games just because there isn't a whole lot to talk about. The one big game, or I don't know if it's a big game, but the one interesting game, North Carolina at Minnesota. Carolina was laying 1.5. Originally, I liked Minnesota in this, and there was that weird line flip. I believe Minnesota opened as favorites, and it swapped over to Carolina being favorites. I don't know. It was a gross game to me. I actually liked the under. I didn't bet it, but that was kind of my one look in there. I don't know if you had anything good in that
Yeah,
game.
I mean, typically when it comes to like football, and this isn't like tried and true or anything, but when like the line flips to the other team being favored, I like to take the original favorite, so I'll take the points with Minnesota in this case. I mean, it's just like a tendency. Something I tend to do. It's not necessarily indicative of what's going to happen. I like the over though. I mean, that makes no sense like football wise, but I see like the under is very public, which that makes sense. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that one's like 9-6 or something. And North Carolina seemed a little public to me too. So when it comes to college football, like I'm trying to get away from the total, bet on splits, be contrarian. I'm trying to get away from that 100%, but it seems to work the best in football. So it's worked in college football for me anyways in the last 2 seasons. So I'm going to continue that. So I took the 2 with Minnesota. Probably should have just took a money line, but I did not. And then I'm on over 52.5 as well.
I like it. So we're on completely opposite. See, the under is really obvious.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense
because like it's new quarterbacks, it's new systems, bad weather, it's Big Ten football.
Everyone's on it. I think they also play in a dome.
No, it got pushed back.
That's just the pro team. Are they
at?
It's a true home game? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, they pushed it back like an hour and a half because of the weather.
Oh, okay, cool. So definitely not heading then. But yeah, I don't believe in weather except when
If it makes you feel any better, Big Tuna's on the over, so he's also with you on that. We were talking about it.
That's my
the other game I just want to brief on quick because I have to. Colorado is hosting North Dakota State today. I believe that line closed at 10.5, opened at 8.5 in favor of the Buffs.
11.
Oh, did it? So it jumped. I mean, it wasn't budging for a long time. I wouldn't have played it at 11.5. I would have taken the Buffs at 8.5. Wouldn't have played it at double digits. It's a weird game. I still think the books are trying to figure out what Colorado really is. If you ask me, they're a 5-win team. I think they're 5-7 team this year. Yeah, I mean, I kept seeing tweets. I believe it came from ESPN Bet that it was the most bet favorite of the weekend. And based on what I saw in splits, that just wasn't true. It looked like it was somewhat public on Colorado, but it looked like it was pretty much 50-50. So I thought it was like a ploy to get people to bet on NDSU. I thought it was fake sharp. I like the Buffs there. but not at
I
11
don't
and a half,
know.
certainly.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean, who are they playing? North Dakota State?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think that line's like crazy or anything. I mean, North Dakota State's like a perennial contender in
FCS. Yeah,
FBS. There you go. Yeah,
I know. I
got it
always
right.
think of it.
But yeah, they're always solid. But I mean, they're in Boulder.
They're in Boulder.
So it's probably about right. I mean, that won't be a curb stomping by any stretch of the imagination, I don't think. But I mean, I don't like were Colorado to lose. I don't think it would be like a beat down either. So, I mean, I think that's probably fair. That's something I would stay away from.
No, I didn't want anything to do with it.
No, Colorado, like you said, I think you hit it pretty well. I still think they're a year or two out, and
Yep.
as good of a coach and person as Dion is, like, deep down, I feel like he has a knack for like irritating people who um, don't play. Like, you got to be good to get his attention. I guess
Yeah.
that's a better way of saying it. I mean, I could be wrong, but like that's kind of the vibe I get from him. Like, if you're no good, like, well, you don't exist to him. And I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of tough for recruiting. Like, you gotta get guys bought in, invested in that program, and he's gonna have no problems, in some areas of like the roster and whatnot. But there are other areas where he might struggle because, like in football, there are positions where um, you're not in the spotlight, and he's a spotlight guy. So I'm just curious to see how that plays out. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. We got one question, and it was the Coastal Carolina game against Jacksonville State. I believe that line opened at 2.5, closed at 3.5, and Jacksonville State laying 3.5.
Uh,
I like Jacksonville State there. Coastal lost their quarterback. They lost a ton of production. Don't think I would lay 3.5. I would have played it at 2.5, but it was 3.5 when I went to go bet it. So I stayed away. I didn't like that. But
yeah.
that it looks a little bit short based on what Coastal lost and what Jacksonville State brought back because they weren't horrible last year.
No,
So
they won their bowl game, I think, in pretty
yeah,
good fashion. Or, like I think I bet on Jackson State or Jacksonville State, and it was close. I don't quite remember. But I'm on Coastal. That line looked short to me, and like
yeah.
Coastal wasn't good last year either, to my knowledge. Like, they were okay. I think they
No.
had a slow start, but they weren't like typically they're at the top of the Sun Belt. And last year that wasn't the case. App State and James Madison are good. So I mean, it was a tougher conference play for them last year, but that just looks short to me. And like this first week or two is always kind of a crapshoot. It's kind of
Especially
knowing.
with the transfer portal.
Yeah,
Transfer portal is a whole nother ball game for
you can't
this.
keep track of it all. Like, I mean, if you're in the weeds reading about each team, good luck, because like it's a full time job. Like, for casual to um, steady betting, it's like not worth looking into. You just take your lumps or reap the rewards the first 2 weeks, and then week 3, week 4, you kind of start to know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm an in the weeds kind of person. I cannot with college football. I don't like
Mhm.
the big guys. Obviously, like we'll talk about them later. But like Cam Ward, like Riley Leonard, those kinds of guys, you know where they went. But for the most part, it's like you're going off of last year's stuff, and the roster constructions are completely different. So it's
Yeah,
like
every year. I
take
mean,
your
like,
chance in the first couple weeks.
yeah, years past it was tough enough too, with guys just graduating. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In college football, there's so many people. It's not like the NFL where like, I mean, if you're a Broncos fan, you're not, but you're a Jets fan, but like you probably knew every player on the team.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
do that in college. Like, you
No,
just can't.
no. Pushing on. I believe this game. What day is it today? Thursday. This is the Friday game. TCU laying 9.5 at Stanford. I, I don't know what to make of it. I don't like either of these teams this year. I think Stanford is a dumpster fire, so I'm gonna go TCU with the points. Um, I I don't really know what to make of this matchup. Stanford was horrible last year. TCU was not much better than that. So
Mhm.
I I mean nobody shows up to those games, so I'm not even gonna say home field is an advantage for them. So I'm just gonna go TCU in the 9.5.
Yeah, I have not done any splits research yet, so this is all from like my gut reaction. So I might say something on this video, and tomorrow it might change. I'm not really sure. But to me, like, I would tend to agree with you. Stanford is not good. They have not been good in quite some time. And TCU was a little bit disappointing last year as well. I mean, coming off of the national title appearance, getting steamrolled. They kept most of the guys. I think they lost their quarterback. Don't even remember his name, being quite honest with you. But Max Duggan.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They had hopes for last season, and that kind of didn't really shake out the way they thought it was going to be. So, like, I mean, I'm not sure what happened with the portal with them, or who came in, who went out. But I would think that that's probably a good number. Maybe expectations are a little more where they need to be. But Stanford, as bad as they are, tends to be a little sneaky too. So, like, that one, I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
Gun in my head, I'd say TCU. I'd take the points, but
yep. Moving to our MAC game of the week, Eastern Michigan at UMass. UMass laying 1.5. I believe that already jumped to 2.5, but was 1.5 as of Monday. So jumped a little bit in favor of UMass. I'm going with the Minutemen here, laying 2.5. I actually am probably going to bet that one. I like that spot for them.
Yeah. I typically don't really give Maction all that much love until November, because that's when Maction is. If it's not Tuesday night or Thursday night or Wednesday night or any night that's not supposed to be football, it's not Maction, really. But I'm curious to see. I mean, UMass is jumping to the conference this year. Eastern Michigan's always, like, I wouldn't say they're like a good team, but like MAC standards, they're always, the top half of the team. They're up there with Toledo and like Bowling Green's typically okay. And a couple other those MAC teams are always in contention with them. So that is probably a true pick 'em. So I might not dabble in that personally, but it's in, where the fuck does UMass play? Boston? Is it there?
Yeah. I actually don't know where it is in Massachusetts, to be honest with
you.
you.
But it is a home game for UMass.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look into it more. Like, anything can happen in Action.
Yeah, true.
And it does.
Not an SEC matchup, but Clemson is heading to Athens, Georgia, where the Bulldogs are laying 13.5. I'm laying the big number. Clemson has been disappointing since the transfer portal era. Things just haven't clicked with them as far as like maintaining that. Yeah, Dabo just has not really adjusted to that. They haven't adjusted to that transfer portal championship contender status again. So I'm going with the big number. I think this is a smash spot for Georgia.
Yeah, I think you could safely bet Georgia against the spread in every game they play this season. I was very high on Ohio State. I still am. Not so much because, everyone else that doesn't have a chance. It's just like Ryan Day's coaching for his job and did a good job in the portal, good draft or good recruiting class, all that. But you might as well pencil in Georgia for the number 1 seed. Like, they're going to roll. I still think Kirby's going to find a way to get them pissed off about how they were snubbed last year and whatnot. So, yeah, it's going to be a drubbing, I think. But everyone else might think so too. And, like, this is not a spot where I probably wouldn't take Clemson here. I mean, what's the quarterback's name? Klubnik? I think he's going to have a better season. He struggled at times last year, but I mean, I don't want to fade Georgia. I don't like doing that. I'll do it occasionally, but
especially not in Athens.
No, that line's short too, but not like in a facetious way. It's just mispriced. I think it could be 20.
Another game that wasn't on our pick'em slate, but a game that we wanted to both talk about. Number 8 ranked Penn State heading to Morgantown, West Virginia, laying 8.5. I believe it might be 7.5 now too. It may have come down. It's been coming down. I think it opened at 9.5. This is a West Virginia spot.
Absolutely. And like I've been pretty high on Penn State the last couple of years, but
Mm-hmm.
they can't seem to figure out the quarterback deal. Every year it seems like they've kind of got a snoozer quarterback. And I mean, you don't need a quarterback to be competitive in college football. Look at Iowa. They practically, they're first or second in the Big Ten West every year. Rest in peace. That's gone now. But you don't need to have like the A-tier quarterback to be competitive. You need an A-tier quarterback to be championship caliber. But I mean, Penn State's always got a pretty good roster. I still think James Franklin is a good coach, although he cannot win the big game. But it's indirectly his fault. I mean, like the players in the field have to do it too. And the quarterback position's always been really lackluster for them. So, I mean, if West Virginia's going to win this game, it's going to have to be, they get through that Penn State defense. And Penn State is not going to be able to keep up in a shootout, I wouldn't imagine, unless West Virginia's defense is, awful. It might be. I don't know.
It is the Big 12.
Yeah, it's the Big 12. But yeah, this line screams West Virginia to me. It seems very short.
Yeah. Pushing on to Jake's favorite location, Miami Hurricane.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's do one more. I don't have an opinion on it yet, but like a sneaky good Saturday game, I think might be FAU MSU. Michigan State had all that nonsense with their coach last year. What a fucking weirdo. But I think that's like FAU. Don't be like, oh, MSU's gonna pound FAU. FAU was okay last year. Just keep that in mind.
What was the spread in that game?
Like 8-ish. It might have moved a little bit, but I think it was 7-8 touchdown or a little more. But
Interesting.
that one might be, like if you have two TV setup or a multi-view setup, that might be one you want to put on. That game could be fun, but it could also be horrible. I don't know. But that one caught my
eye. Now heading to Jake's favorite location, the Miami Hurricane are heading to the Swamp, laying 2.5 against the Florida Gators. I don't even have to ask you who you're taking in this one.
Gators. Dude, fuck Mario.
As much as I think, dummy. I love Cam Ward. He is one of the more talented quarterbacks in college football right now. You can't fade the Gators in the Swamp.
He's no TV. He's no Trevor Van Dyke. What the hell is that doofus's name? He's at Wisconsin now.
Yeah, he's here now.
Yeah. It's bullshit. That guy sucks.
I love Cam Ward. It's Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Give me the Gators in the Swamp as home dogs.
Yeah.
Miami never fails to disappoint. Oh yeah.
I wish I could go to that game. That would be
that. Yeah, love the Gators plus 2.5 in the Swamp.
That might be a squad ride for the boys, and then Miami's going to win by 40. I'm in.
I like that, dude. Gators as home dogs is like an auto play from the last couple of years. It's just been so bizarre. Can't explain it, but it's just it's what they do in the Swamp.
Tough place to play.
Oh yeah. Moving to what is, in my opinion, the best game of the weekend. Texas A&M Aggies laying 2.5 points in is that West Bend at Notre Dame?
South Bend
at Notre Dame. I'm on the Aggies here, minus 2.5. It's probably my favorite play of the weekend.
I would agree with that. I mean, Notre Dame does not have what's the quarterback's name? Sam Hartman. He's not there anymore. They've got Riley Leonard from Duke. I think they're going to be good again. But weird number, especially with A&M kind of in a different spot. I mean, Jimbo's gone. They've been kind of struggling to, I don't know, be like a competent football team. Last couple of years, they've been not good. So, yeah, that looks funny to me too. So I'd like A&M, but like then again, it's like Notre Dame playing at home. Who knows?
I was seriously looking at taking Notre Dame on a season future to go undefeated. Like I don't know if you looked at their full schedule. This is the one game I think they could drop. The rest of their schedule is a relative cakewalk.
They always drop one though.
They do, and I think it's week 1.
No,
I
like
seriously think
they drop a
well,
cupcake.
they drop a dumb one. Yeah, no, yeah, they drop a dumb
They'll
one.
lose to Navy or something.
Yeah. But I'm on the Aggies here. I'm with you there, -2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got our final game of the slate, rounding it out on, I believe this is on Monday. We got LSU laying 4.5 points at USC. I have to go with LSU. I don't know what SC brought in, but that was one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen the last 2 years. So I just think you got to take LSU. It'll probably be a shootout. They can probably win by a touchdown. I don't have a whole lot of feelings on this.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to remember last year because Brian Kelly, I'm confident he will figure it out eventually. But I remember last year where they got punked by FSU. It makes perfect sense for LSU to, just go all up and down the field, but they don't play great defense either. I feel like LSU is going to be a trappy public spot. I'm inclined to lean USC just because of, that reputation the team has of, we don't play great defense. We'll keep up with you on offense, but defense, you might as well not even put them out there. Just put 7 on the board. We'll go back out on offense. I don't know. That looks a little funny to me.
Especially without Caleb Williams. I think you got a point there.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
The most talented quarterback by
Yeah,
far
in the
in college
last,
football.
5-10 years, yeah, that's a little fishy. I don't know. Like, to me, that line is telling of USC, but like I said, I haven't done a ton of digging yet. That does look a little short, though. I will say that.
I got one more game, a weird one. A team that played actually pretty decent early in the season last year. They managed to beat Texas Tech. Wyoming heading to Arizona State, catching 7.5. Might be a decent spot for the Cowboys. Kind of a weird matchup. I think ASU is also not good.
I feel like Wyoming should be favored, though.
It could be long.
I mean, they weren't great last year either.
No,
Like
they were pretty bad.
Yeah, for their standards, typically they're pretty good. Their coach retired too, so maybe that's part of it. But didn't he, or was that the basketball coach? I know one of them. I thought the football coach retired after the
Could
bowl.
be.
I could be wrong though. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting because like Wyoming seems like really easy there. But they're also playing a Power 5 school, a bad one, but a Power 5 school. Like, they were horrible last year. I remember what game? I got them against somebody. They lost by like 50. The guy had like 6 interceptions. It's like, no, they played Fresno. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The guy threw like 6 interceptions or 5 picks and 3 fumbles, and like the spread was 21. They lost by 24. They kicked field goals. That's like, just hang on to the ball. That was dumb. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I got one more too. Boston College and FSU. This one might be a little interesting. FSU might not be good. Now, I do want to say Georgia Tech is not Georgia Tech of old. Not because they beat
Boston College.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about last week? Last week, yeah.
Talking about last week. Georgia Tech isn't doing the triple option anymore. I don't know who remembered that or didn't. I'm just mad at myself because I didn't hit the money line button that I had like pressed on the website. I didn't click it. I just took the points. That was easy. But they're a different team. So I don't know if it's fair to, be like, oh, FSU sucks, but like they might.
It's not. They lost a ton from last year. That's a team that I have very little faith in right now, and not because they lost last week, but like because I actually think Georgia Tech is they were really impressive last week.
Mm-hmm. Well, they totally redesigned their offense. They're not doing the triple option bullshit anymore. I love the triple option, but like you have to be able to multiple. Like Army and Navy and Air Force do it. That's kind of their shtick. Like they're the only 3 teams teams in my mind who should really do it. And Navy really doesn't do it. Like, that's why Navy's kind of competent at times, because like they do have the ability to throw the ball. Air Force does too, but they're always like these, oh, let's run like a quick slant wheel route thing, and it goes 96 yards to the house. You know, like they're kind of fluky pass plays. Army doesn't do it at all. But like Navy will try to throw the ball. Like those are the only 3 teams that should do it. Like,
Yeah.
mix it in, sure, but like don't handcuff yourself to that. I feel like that's just lazy coaching.
Yeah. It's a lot of points that they're laying after last week too. Like you'd think they'd probably be laying like 10, and they're laying 16.5.
Yeah. No, I mean, Boston College had like a pretty good showing against them last year too. It was kind of the same spot, but yeah,
They were decent on offense last year. Like their defense was pretty piss poor last year from what I remember, but they played some solid offense. I remember betting a handful of games. I know I took
I bet BC often. Like I bet that over. I think that was an over where I accidentally bet it 3 times. Like it lagged up the first time, and then I hit the number again because like it moved down, and I had like 4 bets on that game. It was stupid.
Yeah,
But
I know I
they all
took their
hit.
over with I know I took their over with Georgia Tech, and it was like a 40-40 game. It was just a bloodbath.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting bet that one by any means, but
take a look.
my attention. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's on Tuesday. That's a loner. That's a loner on Tuesday.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it actually might be one to bet. You got any more games on this? A lot of the games are huge spreads. There's not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's mostly junk. Like
a lot of
just
30-point
going
spreads.
through, what did we do? We talked a little bit about the couple games that we liked tonight. Nothing we can do about that. We just recorded a little late this week. But what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8, and like 2 of them are stretches.
Yeah.
There's like the pick'ems that are the contest that Will put together. I think I was like, you missed one very obvious one. Like we got them all. Like we really did. Like I think the TCU stand. Did we end up going with that one?
Yeah, I think probably the only one that we should have included that we didn't was West Virginia and Penn State.
Yeah, but like even like West Virginia's not.
Yeah, but
I didn't think that you just didn't have Clemson, Georgia. I was like, well,
yeah, that was I skipped it because of the spread. And I was like, yeah, okay.
That's one. Yeah, it's a little big. Like typically you want like close.
It's good to have one of those.
Yeah, you need like when I think of that stuff, it's the matchup more so than like the the spread.
Yeah, than the spread.
It's like the spread is what's supposed to make the pick'em relative. It's to that number,
Yeah.
Well, it's like I just think of the teams in my head, but picking 7-8 games was plenty.
It's pretty easy this week.
It was kind of junk. Yeah.
Well, that's our show, folks. Kicked off college football season right with us. We'll be continuing this next week, earlier in the week, so that way we can have it out before games start. But look forward to these shorter episodes, us going through probably 7 to 10 games every week and picking out some of our favorites. And we're very excited that football's back. We are back.
Yeah, we are so back.
We're so back. Make sure to follow us on Twitter @Overdue Sports. Like and subscribe to the video. And we'll see you next week.